Hello, welcome back. Those of you who saw a few videos ago know that I bought a Hockey Blast pushing a year ago and finally opened it and have decided to try to give a go at it. And so I've asked my good friend Dave to help me out. Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, let's see if we can figure this out. It's Hockey Blast. I've had this for a while. I think this was my first play game that I ever bought, obviously because it was hockey. And I struggled, and people know that. I've struggled mightily with Hockey Blast back in the day, and I fought with it. And sometimes it would work, and sometimes it wouldn't. I just couldn't find the feel and the flow of this
Mhm.
game, and I put it away for the longest time. And then recently they come out with Hockey Blast Express, and I picked up that on Black Friday. That worked really well. And then when I went back into the full game, this time it worked out quite well. So I don't know if it was the Express or if it was just, giving the game a break and kind of just, growing as a gamer, is like Ron likes to say, is we grow as a gamer. And now when I went back to it, I got so much more gaming experience that a lot of the stuff now makes sense.
Yeah, and your history with it is very interesting. So again, at this point, you're liking it much better than you did at first, right?
Yeah, yeah. I struggled a lot, especially with the momentum
Mhm.
and the penalties of this game. I
Okay.
had a real hard time to a point where I just didn't do momentum because I didn't know how to do it. And then the penalties were such a pain in the neck that I cringed every time I got a penalty. The
Mhm.
rest of the game seemed to work okay, but there was a few things that just drove me nuts about this game. And because it's a different game too, because you're using stars and qualities rather than numbers and things like that, that it just was a completely different game than I had played. And so just combine all that, and it just was very foggy for me. Fast forward to few months ago, whatever it is, when I started playing this again, things made more sense. I actually dove into the rule book a little deeper, paid more attention, and the Express game really kind of cracked the door open for me to go back to this game because the Express started to make sense,
Mhm.
and then that just kind of you know transformed into the full game, and it's like, oh, okay, I'm taking what I learned from Express into the full game. Now it makes a little bit more sense. And then when I read the rules this time, everything just made more sense. And I couldn't figure it out, but it did. It made more sense, and I'm enjoying it now. And I'm as you can see, I'm playing it on the channel now, and I've spent days creating my own cards
Yeah,
for
saw
the
that.
game and all that fun stuff there. But yeah, so I had a very jaded past with this game. It was a love hate relationship. There's a couple of funny videos that I left up because I started the game and it went off the rocker, and I said no, I'm gonna play the game out, and for better or for worse, this is the video we're gonna make. And so I had a hard time with it in the beginning, but I've now a few years later, again, it's I find it to be very enjoyable right now.
Cool. Now, I saw the cards you made. They look great. My question is, are they the same size as the
Yes.
play
Yeah.
games cards? Okay.
Yeah. So all I did, and I'll show you the card that I have here. So this would be um your typical play card. Okay.
Okay.
There's Pete Stemkowski of the New York Rangers. Okay. So what I did is I don't think I'll be able to pull out Stemkowski here, but I'll pull out one of my Blackhawks. So what I did is I took the card and just redid it.
Nice. Yeah.
So I'll compare the two here. So there's the play card, and then his mine. So it's just I just modernized it. I put in a little graphic in the background, colored some things, put in team colors, and I would rather play this than this. So
Sure.
that's why I redid the entire 69-70 season and the entire 70-71 season. And I'm working on 74-75 right now. And I just found that when I bought the set, and I didn't realize this at the time. So I picked up the set of what is this, 78? No, this is 95, 96. And you can see that's kind of what the cards look like.
Hmm.
Okay. And so then I picked up 78, 79, and they look like that. They look like the newer style cards.
Hmm.
And I says, you know something? I don't want to play that anymore.
Hmm.
I want to play the newer looking style. And so I started to learn how to do was it Affinity Designer, I think it was. And I measured the card and I put that size on the screen and just started designing what I thought should look like the better looking card. And I think I come out with a pretty good looking card there. It just takes a while. Takes about an hour or so per team to go and type everybody in and proofread and make sure they get the spelling right and the positions right and all the qualities right and the whole bit. But once you're done and you cut them up, it's oh yeah, those cards are so fun to play with because they look so nice.
Nice. Yeah, I got the 86, 87 set, and they look like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so yeah, those are definitely much, much better. Um, so before again, we're gonna go through some gameplay, if that's
Hmm.
okay. And
Sure.
again, I have a rudimentary knowledge of the game, but again, we'll take it from there. But before we do that, a couple more questions. So, how long does it take to play a game?
I think when you first start, it's probably gonna take you an hour, just when getting used to everything, and like a lot of different games, it all depends on what happens. If you get a lot of lulls in the game, then the game speeds up and plays a
Mhm.
little faster. If you don't get a lot of lulls and you get a lot of goals and a lot of penalties and a lot of crazy things that happen, and you got to go, deep into the rule book or the charts, and it takes longer. Um, I'd like to say the standard game for me is about 40 minutes.
Okay,
You
so
know,
anywhere
and,
from
and
30
again,
minutes to an hour.
yeah, 30 minutes to an hour is safe. My thing is that I'm constantly looking into the rule book to double check things.
Hmm.
So in other words, if I roll and it's whatever the roll is, and I see who wins the matchup, I should be memorizing what happens on that, but I still go back to double check. And I still do that with Apper and Strat and all these other games too. I don't know about you, but it's like I get
I
the
do.
result. I know what the result is, but I still got to go read it to make sure that I'm not making a mistake. And that takes me more time. So I need to get some confidence up and realize that, okay, if nobody has the quality, then this is what happened. But I still go back and I read to make sure that it's right. And that's what takes me a lot longer in this game. But yeah, 30 minutes to an hour is about right. I'm trying to speed it up because I'd like to make this my go-to game to play when I don't have, over an hour to play Apple or Hockey Bones.
Okay. Um, if I remember correctly, our good friend P Jet, who's another hockey guru, he has said that this is his favorite game. So that bears some some mentioning. Um, so do you get the full stats like shots on goal, assist, things like that?
No, no, I think you can tack it on because what happens is at the end of the period or the end of the game, whichever you want, is you do get your goals. You see who scored the goals and you see who gets the assists. So
Okay.
that you do get. You get a couple of penalties, but you don't get everything. So at
Okay.
the end of the game, there's a little formula they have that if you want to figure out how many more penalties happened and how many shots on goal happened, there's a way to do it, and it's kind of tacked on. I don't really do that with this game. I find that it didn't work well for me.
Hmm.
So when I play this game, I go into it getting a final score and seeing who scored the goals and maybe who got the assist. But I know that I'm giving up penalties and shots on goal when I play this game. But
So
you
it'd be
can
fair to
get them. There's a way to get them, but it's not. It's just kind of you roll the dice and oh, they picked up a couple of penalties and they picked up a couple of shots, and
okay.
it's not like when you play a game of Strat or something like that where you see everything that happens.
Okay. So I mean, if you don't get all the penalties, then wouldn't that mess up your power play numbers? Like if if you let's say you tacked on two penalties, will you just say they didn't score on that penalty
Yes.
on
Yeah.
that power play?
Exactly. Yeah. It's a
Okay.
lot like shootout hockey where it tacks on penalties. So when you play shootout and you get a penalty, sometimes you'll get two or three penalties on that same play with
Mhm.
shootout. You play one power play out of that, and the other penalties are just put into your box score. And that at some point during the game, those penalties happened and you didn't get a score on that power play. So it's almost kind of the same thing.
So this would probably be a hybrid between a full play game and a fast play game, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's a good way to put it. It's you don't get all the stats of a full play game like you did, with Strat or App or anything like that. But you get more gameplay than you would with a quicker play game or a medium play game. It fits right in the middle, kind of neat. And that's why I like it because, I'll play shootout or stone cold hockey if I want to get something in 15 minutes.
Hmm.
If I want something really fast, then I'll play like the Downey final score games, because those are pretty instantaneous. And again, but somewhere between the 15-20 minute mark and the hour or so of, Strat, Apper, and Hockey Bones, in the middle is Hockey Blast, and it fits perfectly right there.
So are there any other games that would kind of fit that niche that you're aware of, or is Hockey Blast about it?
I think you put it good. It's kind of a hybrid, whereas it's
You
it's
can
it's
think of
somewhere.
another game that would be comparable?
No, most everything I play that I think as far as hockey games go, it either falls in the very quick play, roll to get a final score, or into the quicker play, the 15-minute mark of the shootout of the Stone Cold,
Mhm.
or it falls into the hour or 2 hour long games with Apper and Strat, Hockey Bones, and things like that. I don't play too many other ones. I have played a little bit of Status Pro and a little bit of Big Bep and things like that, but I've never played a full game with either one of those. But I'm pretty sure that they would probably take you an hour or so as well, close to an hour or so as well. So, like I say, Hockey Blast is a great game for me because it gives me a little bit more meat on the bone than some of the games I would normally play without it taking forever, But
Yeah.
as we talk about on the show a lot of times, if you want to play anything besides a full play game, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, or hockey, if you don't play the full game out and you play something, what you're saving in time, you're losing in gameplay and stats. So there's the
Yeah.
balance.
Well, that's kinda interesting then, because I mean, for those who might be interested in this game and don't have it, it sounds like it might kinda fill a niche that other games wouldn't, again, kind of in between the full play and the quick play. So, that would
Hmm.
be interesting for people who might not have it. So, you said it can take up to an hour. So, in your mind, at least at this point, is it fun? Does it flow like hockey to you? Again, you're a big hockey fan. I'm playing some strat hockey, and so an hour can feel like a half an hour, or it can feel like 2 hours. If you're having fun, the flow is good. So in your mind, is it a good a good 40 minutes?
I think you get a good bang for the buck. Now that I've gone back and revisited the game and relearned it and played it, I have no problem throwing this on my table. But I know what I'm getting at the same time too. Is I'm not getting, like last night I played a game of Apper on my channel, and I was an hour and a half or so streaming this game. Now again, when you stream, you talk and you take
Sure.
longer. But again, a game of App is going to take me over an hour to play just myself. So if I don't have that hour or hour and a half, a game like Hockey Blast is perfect. But I know that I'm not going to see every shot and see every penalty and see everything that happens in the game. That I'm going to get kind of some highlights. It is kind of a highlight game. So I'm going to get the highlights of what goes on in this game. So we're going to get the matchup. We're going to see if there's going to be a shot on net. We're going to see if there's a goal or not. And then we play on to the next kind of highlight thing. So I go into Hockey Blast knowing what I'm going to get, and sometimes you're in the mood for that. Sometimes you're like, look, I got half hour. I don't want to play a quick play game, but I can't play a full play game. This fits the bill, and it's quite enjoyable.
So
But
does it?
going into it, knowing what you're gonna get and what you're not gonna get. And again, some people have really adapted some of these, I call them quicker play games, to come up with full stats.
Mhm.
There's people who got really creative with that stuff
Right.
there. Which is something you don't have to do with, like I say, with Strat and all the other ones there, because you see everything that happens, but you pay for it with time.
So does it feel like hockey to you?
Does it feel like hockey?
I mean, when you
I
get
would
done
say
playing, does it feel like you've seen a hockey game?
I would say when I first started playing it, no. But now that I've gone back to it and I'm kind of playing it correctly, yeah, there's a lot more about this game that I like now than when I first started playing it. And again, it's just probably for me maturing as a gamer, kind of figuring out how play does things compared to every other game, because it
Right.
is very different.
It is.
But I would say that at first glance, you're looking at the cards. Like I say, you're looking at these tiny cards with just with this, I'm looking at this guy here, and I'm like, okay, so he's got speed and skill. Well, what the heck does that mean? You know what I mean? What the heck was skill mean?
Right.
Compared to a shot rating of 5 or a value of 15, whatever it is, or looking at the strat card. Oh, he's got a goal on a 9. You know what I mean? So what does skill and speed mean? But so you look at that and like, how can this transform into a hockey game? But it kind of does, and because it's all about matchups, and that's the fun part of this game is that you roll the dice, and okay, I'm matching up, Bobby Orr with Rod Gilbert, and what quality are we looking at here? And Gilbert may have the quality, and Bobby Orr may not, and Gilbert is going to win that battle, and so it's a constant battle either between two single players or between the whole line, and that's what makes this game fun. So you see the matchups that happen, and then they take the shot, and you see if the shot's in range, and then you see if the goalie can make the save. And I was playing a game the other day, I think with I don't know if it was Express or if it was a regular Hockey Blast game, and this goalie had no
Hey,
stars.
Dave,
Yep,
can I pause it just a minute?
sure.
Okay, sorry about
Okay,
that interruption, guys.
that's okay. Yeah, so I played a game of Express, and the goalie had no stars because I was playing a bad team. And the shot came in, and you rolled a 7, and on a 7, it's on net, and it's in range, and it could be a goal, but you got to go to the spectacular save chart. And son of a gun, I rolled either a 2 or a 3, whatever it was, and this goalie with no stars made a spectacular save, and it just made the game fun. The way they do things is just fun. Is Nothing's really automatic in this game, and that's what makes it fun. Is some games I play where you roll and okay, I know exactly what's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. But with the play games, there is that small chance that the worst goalie in the league can still make a spectacular save, and this guy made the save, and it made it fun. It made it super fun that this guy was keeping his lousy team in the game. I think it was actually the California Seals, now that I think about it. And this goalie with no stars made a spectacular save, gave the team the momentum, and kept the score 3-2 or whatever it was. And it's little things like that that do make it feel like hockey and do make it very enjoyable to play.
Available seasons. How do they match? How they doing there? In your opinion?
Not too bad. Again, everyone's has their favorite seasons in their whatever. So for me, they hit a lot of the seasons that I enjoy. The 69, 70, 70, 71, 74, 75. Those are all favorites of mine. They have the 78, 79, which I enjoy. I think you mentioned 86, 87. I think I have that. So I have all the seasons in the 70s and 80s that I would like to play. I think 81, 82 I have. So I probably have 7 or 8 seasons. So I get a good sampling of the seasons I enjoy playing. Of course, I would like more 70s and 80s hockey as well. And I'd like to see 90, 91, which is another favorite season. But I think I picked up 95, 96. So I think their seasons that they offer is it's okay. It's not awesome because it's not all of them, but it's not just a few. There's enough in there that again, there's nothing worse than finding a game that you like,
Right.
and they have 1 or 2 seasons that you would play because it just I shy away from those games. And there's a couple of hockey games and a couple of baseball games that are the same way. I'm like, boy, I don't even know if I want to get involved in this game because if this turns out to be my favorite game and there's only 1 season I would realistically play.
So this one
It's gonna
feels like there's enough that you can
I think
invest
there's
in the
enough.
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's enough. Obviously, we'd like to see all the seasons as gamers. We like to do that with some of our favorite games, but I think there's enough in this one. I at least have 5 or 6 seasons that I would absolutely that I do play on a regular basis. So yeah.
Nice. And I know they have quite a few PDF options if you're interested in that.
Yeah, I like the fact that they do have PDF as well as the printed stuff there. I do like that. So they do offer both. I'm not sure if they have every season in both or not, but the idea that
I
that
looked
you
this
can get
morning. I
both.
don't know if they have every one, but they had a nice selection of PDF.
Yeah, yeah, they do. And I picked up a whole bunch on that Black Friday sale when they had the 50% off PDF. So I think I grabbed a whole bunch of the Blast seasons that I didn't have.
Now, before we jump into the gameplay, one last thing is accuracy. I know that's a big target, but I mean, in your mind, does it deliver the goods? It feels like that people are performing the way that they performed in real life?
It's hard to say because I haven't played a ton of this to to talk about the accuracy. From what I've seen, it's not out of line.
Okay.
It's not like the fourth line guy's got 5 goals, and it's not like Tony Esposito can't make a save to save his life. So I mean, it's definitely not out of line with anything else. But as far as compared to some other games, I haven't played enough. I kind of play one-offs of this, or I'll play a playoff series or something.
Hmm.
I did play it was a homebrew 72 Summit series with Canada Russia, and I did play that, and that come out pretty darn close. I it wasn't a 4-4. I think it was a 4-4 split actually. Instead of Canada coming out 4-3-1 or something like that. I think they split 4-4, or maybe Russia won 5-3 or something like that. But it was an even battle like it was in real life, and some of the better players performed a little bit better, at least with that set. So I think how the game is weighted with the qualities and the stars and the symbols and the whole bit. I think you're going to be in the ballpark. And there's some people that have played out this and swear by the accuracy of it and say it's
Yes.
pretty good. So there's some people that have played a lot more than me that'll tip the cap to this game here. I have not noticed this being out of line.
Cool. All right. Well, let's go to the table here.
Okay.
Able to see that?
Yep. And I'll follow along the best I can with my book here.
Okay. So basically, it's as I understand it, it's divvied up into minute increments. So your score thing that comes with the book or with the game is you've got 60 or 20 blocks per quarter or period. I mean,
Hmm.
and so you can just write in a little synopsis of what happens every minute if you want. Now you also change. You're supposed to change the lines every minute. Is that correct?
No, it tells you when to change the lines, actually. If you wanted to, if you want to expand your screen, I think if you go into settings and you change it so there's no border, you can make that nice and big.
Settings,
And
general
presentation or something like that, it says,
layouts, cropped solo layout. There we
there you
go.
go.
Sweet. So,
And get rid of your little logo at the top right too, and then you can see all the cards.
how do you do that? Same place?
Um, go into your brand, I think it is, on the
Brand.
right side of your StreamYard screen, and you just click on that little baseball logo, and it should disappear. Yep.
You're a genius.
I've done this so many times. I've learned to get rid of some of these things.
Okay.
So yeah, so the game will tell you when to change the lines, and that's the great thing about it. So if you have your book open on page 2 under normal minutes, or even on right there, or even if you flip the page on the power play minutes, it tells you basically what's going to happen on each thing. So if there's a change of possession, sometimes you change lines, sometimes you don't. If there's a goalie save, sometimes you change lines, and sometimes you don't. But the great thing about it is the rules here will tell you when to change lines.
Okay. Now I have the basic board here, so they actually have one that's bigger to where you can lay out all your lines at once. I think you actually have a play mat, don't you, that you can do that with?
Yeah, I bought the mat actually for this game because it does fit 4 lines of offense and 3 lines of defense, and so you don't ever have to stack anything, so to speak.
Now, does Play offer that mat, or did you get that from Al Wilson and have it printed in ink?
Yeah, that was an Al Wilson design, and I just went in and took out some of the logos and added some of my favorite logos to it, and I think I put
Mhm.
digital to dice center ice
Nice.
and printed it out at Ink Gaming. Yeah, so that's all
Okay.
that was. But it was his design, and I just kind of added to it.
Yeah, I've done a couple of that. I know Play offers some play game or mats, but I didn't know if they offered one for this or not.
I don't know if they do. I don't think they do. I think this was an Al Wilson design.
Okay. So, so again, I assume that every minute you change, but you're saying it'll tell you on the results here whether you do or not. So,
Yep.
okay.
Sometimes I think on goals you change the line, but there are some saves that you don't. and there are sometimes during the game that you don't. So we'll play and we'll follow along, and we'll when it
Okay,
says to change the line, we'll change the line, and when it doesn't, we just keep playing in the same segment.
fair enough. So basically, the book is divvied up into different situations. So you've got your normal minutes. You've got if you got a power play, you've got empty net, and you've got 3-on-3, and the rest of it are just extra charts. So that's pretty. You just got 4 places that you're going to go to depending on what's going on the ice,
Hmm.
which is nice. And then so once you do that, you roll 2 d6s, and so 2 through 12, you will tell you what's going to happen in that minute. That's just
Yep.
kind of a
The
synopsis,
whole game is 2d12s,
right?
2d6s. I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's
Okay.
2 to 12 rolls for the entire game.
So to start off, you gotta now. Not only do you have, you've got what's going on. You've got special charts for that particular situation. So like you got power, and then you got different
Mhm.
charts. So again, just 2 pages basically of whatever happens to be going on.
Yeah, so you want to just keep that open there. So you never,
Right.
yeah. So if you're on page 2 with normal minutes, page 3 goes with page 2.
Right.
And then if you're on the power play, then you got page 4 with page 5 and vice
Right.
versa there. So yeah, so it just, they do it. The play does a fantastic
Yeah.
job with keeping everything together that you need. Even in the football game, second season, I found that when I played that, I was like, wow, everything is like combined. You don't have to think about anything. You don't have to say, hey, where am I going? Because it's all connected. I do
Yeah.
like that.
That's very very well designed. All right. So you start with a face off like regular
Yep.
hockey. So you roll 2 12s here and 12. Oh, we got an unusual result already.
Yeah, yeah, here we go. This is when the Planko can happen with the game.
So high face off wins face off. Unusual result. So your face off is
The left side,
there.
FO.
FO.
Yeah.
So it looks like Gretzky's I got the Oilers. This is 86, 87 Oilers and Flyers, by the way. Gretzky's a 53. Looks like is it Zazel?
Zezel.
Zezel. Uh, hey, I got somebody help me with pronunciations.
Eh,
Sweet. He's a 56. So he, under normal circumstances, he would have won the
yeah,
face-off.
so
Okay.
put the puck with Zezel, yeah. And now you would roll again, and 2 to 12 is going to tell you what happened on the unusual
Oh,
result.
so it's actually got what they would happen there, right?
Yep, yep.
Cool. Right.
So, yep,
Right
that's
off
something
the
you can
bat, we
do.
got craziness.
Yes, we do.
So 8 is an unusual penalty. So that's on the back of the book, right?
Yeah, so you would go to page 10,
Nice.
and then now you'd read it 11 to
So that's
66.
APA style, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the black would be the red. So 21. Penalty on 01 minor for charging. So
Yeah.
01,
So 01 would be the
is that
team with the puck.
offense?
Yeah, offense, and that's the first number. So if you look at
Nice.
Brian Prop would get
Brian
a
Prop.
charging penalty. So the face-off in the first minute of play, Zezel wins the face-off from Gretzky. The Flyers have the puck, and then Prop ran somebody over, and he's going to get the penalty.
Bobby Gretzky. I
So
doubt he ran over coffee.
now, how penalties work in this game is if someone gets a penalty that you roll on the penalty chart. However, I think with the unusual penalties,
Hmm.
because what happens with penalties is it designates somebody, and then you look at the opposite player to see who gets the penalty.
Hmm.
So if you look on the next page under penalty event chart, right there on page 11. Okay, so you would roll to see who gets the penalty. Let's just say you
Right.
rolled a 2. So D1.
Hmm.
So you look at D1, but then you'd also look at 05 and you compare the two of them on the table. Okay. And the higher penalty would get the penalty. So just under our scenario, so D1 would be Curry over there on the right side, right? That would be Curry, and he would be going up against Mark Howe. So
Hmm.
you would compare the penalty ratings of the two of them, and the higher one would get the penalty. That's how a normal penalty situation works.
Okay.
The unusual penalties, I don't know if you would compare the two or not, or if you just read right off the chart, if you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like, the way it
It's
reads, it just looks like it just happened.
Yeah, penalty
That's
on
what it
01.
was.
So that looks like it spells it out pretty specifically. But whereas other penalties, you would compare the two players on the ice and
Okay.
see who has the higher penalty rating. So on that one, yes. Yeah. So right off the bat, Prop would get a penalty for minor charging. And so you would now flip to the power minutes, and you would either flip over a prop or put a little thing there to indicate that he's sitting in the box for 2 minutes. So on your score sheet, you would mark penalty Philadelphia. And if you want to put prop's name on there, if you want, yep, prop 2 minutes, yep.
Does
So
this
now
mean then the next
what
2
I
minutes are penalties?
yeah, now what I do is like in the top left corner or the top right corner, I just put like a little, I color in the corner with like a little triangle to let me know that those are power play minutes. You know what I mean? So I just put some kind of a mark on there. Yeah, just like that. So in the next two, yeah, so that way there I know that those are my 2 penalty minutes there because we roll one at a time for that.
Now, if we
So
scored in the first one, then that would not be one that
exactly. Yeah, we would
okay.
cancel that out. Or if there was a penalty on Edmonton, then we would cancel that out. But at least that lets me know that those are the 2 minutes coming up. So
Okay.
we'll flip to page 4 now, and we'll play power minutes, and we'll start with a face off like that.
Right, so 8, man advantage team wins face off. What does the star mean?
Man advantage wins face. Now, if you look down below, scroll right in the middle there between the right here. That'll tell you if there's a man advantage in a power play team with that symbol. So you only need one of them, right? Because you rolled an 8. We get an immediate play.
Oh, okay.
So we look
So
and
Gretzky
yeah,
has it, and
yep.
Curie has it.
So they have 2 actually. So we'll get an immediate scoring chance.
Okay, so does that mean you go to the play chart immediately?
Yes.
Okay, so this is so when you get a play chart, you go to this, you roll twice, once to tell you what 3 players are involved, and then you calculate to see if they score or not, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So let's see who's involved. So you got a 9. So the first 2 are the assist, and then the third one is who takes the shot, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So 4 and 2 are assist, and then I can choose who takes the shot on that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's go with Gretzky, of course. Everybody loves Gretzky. All right. And
Yep.
then what you do is that the assist people, you're counting stars now, right?
Yep. Now we got to keep in mind too that when you're on the power play, you have momentum. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
we probably
those are the clear stars.
yes. So those fill in. If you have momentum, then if you're reading off of that team, then those stars fill in.
Now, I was going to ask you about that. So when you start the game, does anybody have momentum or is it neutral?
It's supposed to be neutral. What I do is I have the home team start with momentum.
Okay, fair enough.
That's just what I do, and then momentum comes and goes during the entire game.
All right, so I know you get it if you're on the power play. If you win a fight, you get it, right?
Yeah, there's actually a little chart in the book there that talks about the momentum and how you get it. So if you score a goal, if you win a hit quality, if you win a fight, or if the goalie makes a spectacular save, then you get momentum. If you're on the power play, then you get temporary momentum. So you have it while you're on the power play, but then when the power play's over, you lose it.
Okay. So you in your way you play it right now, the home team would have it, but now the
Yeah.
Oilers
So
would have it because they got the power play.
all right. So who's your home team? So it looks like Philadelphia is your home
Philadelphia.
team.
Yeah.
All right. So Philadelphia would have started with it, but now they would lose it because of the penalty. You lose momentum on a penalty,
Mhm.
and the Oilers would have temporary momentum during the power play.
Okay. So
Okay.
after the power play, if nothing else happens, it would revert back to Philadelphia because of the home team.
No, no, because they've lost momentum because of the penalty. So there
Okay.
would be no momentum at that
No
point.
momentum at that point. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. So they have momentum. So that means that the hollow stars count, correct?
Right. Hmm.
So the 2 assists, you count their assist stars, and then Gretzky, whoever's shooting, you count their shot stars.
Yep. Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means they're automatically going to get it on the
Yep.
black die, right?
Right. Yeah. Because you would
Okay.
have to roll less to get it in range for the shooter, and because it's a 7, the highest you can roll is a 6. So yes, so no matter what happens, that's going to be in range.
Okay, so
So
the
then you
white
would
die is the goalie, right?
yep, and his play save is
It's
So
2 and 3 with the momentum, but they don't have the momentum, so it would be 2, right?
right. So anything on the black die, and you would have to beat that. So you would need 3 or higher on the white die.
Yeah, so like the black, you have to be equal or lower.
Mhm.
The white, you have to be equal
No,
or actually you have to be higher.
you got to beat it. Yeah, you got to beat the goalie with the shot.
Okay.
Yep.
So obviously the black we got it. 5's higher than 2, so they score. Nope, they don't
Well,
score. You go to the
we go
goal
to the
chart.
chart. Yep.
Yeah,
And you
so
can
that's
see a
it.
step.
That's what you were saying about how that
Yep.
it's interesting is because it's
Yep.
not nothing's automatic.
Yep. So now I think anything but a 7 is a goal. Okay, if you
Okay.
look at it there, pretty much.
But
But
so when
no,
you
so
you
now
go
we got a spectacular save. So we look at the goalie spectacular save
don't we
rating.
do the goal chart first?
Yeah, but no, you keep that dice roll of a 7.
Oh, so it's the same roll.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that roll of a 7.
You don't
So
re-roll
it's
for that.
it's on net, and the goalie has a chance to make a spectacular save. So
Nice.
Hextall reaches across. Now, what is his spectacular save rating?
Oh, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Holy crap. Yeah. Okay. So he's got a fantastic spectacular save rating. So you're going to roll on the spectacular save chart to see if he can make this unbelievable save on Gretzky.
9. 4 or better. Goalie snags puck midair. Otherwise goal. So he made a spectacular
He
save.
made a spectacular save. Yes, he did. So
Sweet.
Hextall makes a spectacular save. Now,
That was
on a
fun.
spec on a spectacular save, he snags it and he makes the save. So I would in my box I would put spectacular save for that minute, and then we have a new face off. And that's where again, if you roll the 7, just because it's on net, you still one little
Yeah.
chance to make a spectacular
Yeah.
save.
So
And it gets
basically, all the other ones, if we'd had anything but a 7, it would have been a goal.
hmm Yep.
Nice. That's cool. I like
And there
that.
are, I think if you roll a 2 or a 12 on a spectacular save, any goalie will make that save. And that's how that goalie with no stars made that save the other day for me as I rolled a 2. And it's
Okay.
just like, holy cow, here's this goalie with no stars making a save. So,
Nice. But obviously, I mean, 4 or better. I mean, that where obviously really good at that, came into play. Because I mean,
yep.
you would have, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
no, a spectacular save of 5 is pretty darn good. So,
Yeah, no, that's great. I think it's probably the best you can do.
yeah.
All right,
Now,
so
it doesn't
spectacular
say
save
to
for Hextall.
Yeah, no, it doesn't say. Let me see. If the goalie makes respect, puck is frozen, change lines in advance time, and conduct a faceoff. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to go to the next box of time on our score sheet. So we
Mhm,
again fill in spectacular save, and now we're on the second minute of the power play, and
right.
we do have to change the lines. Yep. So
Now I'll do this, again, as long as we know how to do it,
yeah, you don't have to
I'm
change
okay
lines if you don't want to.
I'm
Yeah,
okay
just for a
leaving.
practice game, sure.
Right. Yeah, so you
But
you
you,
would know that basically, and you got that from up here
yep.
where it tells you so that you wanna be looking for that in the footnotes
Mm-hmm.
where okay,
It
so you would change the line here.
right here you would change the line. Yeah, but for
Now,
our
do you have
purpose,
an
we can keep.
opportunity ever to extend their playing time? Is there a rule for that?
Yeah, they have different things in here where you can double shift teams, double shift a line rather. You can keep them out there extra. I think you can do it. I don't know if it's once a period or once a game that you can keep your best guys out there. It's in the rule book there. It explains about line changes. I have my own way of doing it. You've probably seen. I have my little my line cards that I flip, and it kind of gives me a random line
Mhm.
heavily weighted towards line 1, then line 2, then finally line 3. But that way there, I'm not just matching up 1 versus 1 and 2 versus 2 the entire
Right,
way. That's the one thing about hockey games is the line changing thing. Everybody has their own way of doing it because there's really no right way to get different matchups out there. So
right.
so I have my little cards that I flip, and it tells me which line's coming out. And if the line stays out there, then they stay out there, you know. But in this game here, yes, you're supposed to go to the next line right now, which could be either 2 or 3, depending what you want to do.
So generally speaking, would you, by the rule book, would you just go through the lines 1 through 4 throughout the game?
Yeah, I think so. Except if you wanted to double shift somebody there, but yeah, you're supposed to go to the next guy in the stack, so to speak.
Okay. All right, so we would have changed the lines here. So spectacular save by Hextall on Gretzky. That's why you love these games.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Gretzky,
absolutely.
you could just. I mean, it even said it was a glove save. So I mean, how cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we do our face off. So again, we got one more. We're still on the power minute. So
Yep.
we do our face off here. 5. Shorthanded team wins face off. We got 3 stars. If more than one man down, man advantage wins face off. So they're only one down, so they get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go. Then you could roll on what happened in this minute, right?
Yep. Yep.
8. Ice blast. So this is where you're checking your the qualities, right?
Yep. So on a blast, we're looking at everybody on the ice.
Okay. And then you roll a black die to see which quality you're looking for, right?
Yep.
Okay.
So just one dice. What I like to do sometimes is I'll roll a third die, which is a red die, and that way there I'll have my
Yeah.
quality all spelled out for
When
me.
you need that extra roll. So
Yep.
we're looking for star.
So yeah, we add up all the stars that are on the ice for each team.
All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for Edmonton. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Philadelphia. So Edmonton wins. So what happens then?
Okay, so if Edmonton wins that, then what it says is that let me see. So it's basically the same as a zoom. A zoom is one player. So if you look at
Mhm.
number 6, that's one player on one player. The ice blast is the whole line versus the whole line.
Okay.
So we see who wins the matchup. If the team with the puck wins the matchup, then they get a play. If the defender wins it, then they take over the puck and they get a new possession. So you said that Edmonton won this, right?
Yeah. Edmonton has 5, but they didn't have the puck. Philadelphia
Right. So
does.
so basically what's going to happen here is they're going to take the puck away from Philadelphia. And I believe what happens here is that they will take the puck, will change the lines, and the penalty is over because that ends that minute.
Okay. Nice.
So Philadelphia will not get the shot.
So basically, that was just a takeaway, pretty much.
Yep. So they took the puck away, and because of that, if the defender wins, there's no shot. Defense takes over, new possession, change of lines, advance clock. So, yeah. So they took the puck away. So there's no scoring chance, but the penalty ends. So now the momentum is gone because the penalty is over.
Right.
So now we're back to no momentum, and we'll go back to normal penalty minutes after we change the lines, and now Edmonton has the puck.
Okay. So you go back. So that's the end of the penalty. So back to our normal
Mhm.
normal minutes. All right. So 10 is turnover. If any defender has the block, then a turnover is created. If no block, then no effect. Roll again.
Yep. So take a look at Philadelphia. Does anybody have the square?
Yeah, Mark Howe.
Okay, so Markow has it. So it's a turnover. So Philadelphia takes the puck.
Okay, so you're looking at who doesn't have the puck, and if anybody has it, they take it.
Right. So this is the defender making a play. So Markow made a play because he has the square.
Okay.
So he makes a square. He makes the play, and Philadelphia will now take over the puck. But however, on this one, no change of lines, no timing. It's just a change of possession.
Okay.
And so we would roll again on the
So if
normal minutes.
double fives are rolled, they also get a breakaway play. So
Right.
we didn't get double fives.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So now they have it, and so that was just another takeaway, pretty much, right?
Yep. That's a takeaway in the same minute.
By
Yep.
Mark Howe.
Mm-hmm.
So basically,
So
that other takeaway was kind of a team takeaway.
yeah. This was an individual check, and
Gotcha. That was Mark
because
Howe.
does anybody have the square on the ice? Yeah, so somebody did, so he made the play.
Nice. All right. 5-minute mark. 7. So that's a lull. So that's 3 minutes, correct?
Yep. So I just put in the boxes. I put LLL for lull,
L. And then
and then
they kind of, so as far as line changes there, you keep the same line because they're saying that you switch through 3 lines, right?
same players remain on the ice. It's assumed that all lines have played through the next 3 minutes. Yep. So on that one there, Now, the only time this would change is if there was a cheap shot, then the lull turns into a fight, and there's no lulls at the end of the game, so you can't end the game with lulls. So there's
Yeah, I
a
think
few
it's like
different things
3
if you
minutes.
read him. Yeah. Yep. So, the lulls during mostly during the meat of the game, but at the end of the game, or if there's a cheap shot out there, then lulls are not lulls.
Okay. Now,
But that'll smooth itself out as you play.
do you pick up with a face off or with who
Yep.
had the puck?
Yep. So 3 minutes of play happened. Blah 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 blah. This, that, and the other thing. So now we get a whistle. Just keep the same guys on the ice and go back to the face-off chart.
Okay.
And this is when the game can really kind of speed along. If you get a lot of lulls,
Yeah.
you're going through the game really fast without
Mhm.
doing a lot of lookups.
And I mean, again, I'm not a hockey dude, but I mean I'm sure if you're a real hockey fan, there's always something going on. But as a casual hockey fan, again, lulls make sense to me.
Yeah, well, again, if you're playing Strat or Apper or Hockey Bones or any of the other full play games, this is when the shot is blocked. It goes into the corner. This guy ices the puck. We have an offside. This guy loses it to the left defenseman. There's a face-off neutral. So all those things that you get in the full play games, that all just took place behind the scenes.
So you could have had shot on goals and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and again,
Maybe even penalties.
yes, and there's in the rule book it talks about how you can use those lulls to figure out if there were any penalties and how many shots took place. So it's
Right.
it's things that happened during the game that didn't warrant us stopping to take a look at.
And this is where it, like you said, it helps speed the game up to
Yeah,
make it, again, not a full play game, but not exactly
yeah.
a
So
quick play
no
either.
goals. There are no goals that can happen during a lull,
Right.
but there's a lot of little things that.
Right.
And again, if you want those little things, that's when you play the full play game.
Right. Yep, fair enough. All right. So you start off with a face off. So 9 is home team wins face off, immediate play. So that's basically a shot opportunity, right?
Yep.
So who won it? 9 home. So Philadelphia has it. So we roll on our play chart to see who's involved. 9 is 4, 2, and choice again. So 4, 2, and who do you want to shoot, Dave?
Oh, let me see here. So we got 4 and 2. So we have. Well, those are the defensemen. Let's give it to Brian Prop. He used to be a Bruin.
Okay. All right. So right now nobody has momentum, right?
Yeah. After the lull kills all momentum, so we come out of the lull, so nobody has momentum.
Okay. So Crossman has no stars on assist. He's got a hollow one, but Kerr has 1, and then Prop has 4 shooting, or 3 shooting, I mean. So that would give them 4, right?
Yep.
And then Grant, is it Fuhr?
Yep.
He has 1 play save, 2 with momentum. So basically 4 and 1, right?
4 and 1 is what we're looking at. Yep.
Okay. So Black 4 is equal or lower, so they got that. 5 is over 1, so that's check
Look on the
goal
goal
chart,
chart,
right? And again, you use the same roll. You don't re-roll.
right. Yep.
9 cranks it. Yes, goal.
Yep. So Prop
Prop.
scores from Kerr and Crossman, and
So
the
you
Flyers.
would give these 2 guys the assist, right?
Yep. Yep.
Okay. Sweet.
Yep. So
So
and
Prop with the goal.
that's where the 1-star goalies really hurt you in this game.
Yeah, I thought he's a 5 spectacular save, but I thought
Yep.
he was a better goalie than that.
Well, he was on an Edmonton team that scored 8 goals, so they would win 8-7.
Gotcha. They got Andy Moog. He's a 2.
Yeah, Andy Moog. Yeah, he's that was a good combination back then. But again, it's like they always said Fuhr made the save when he needed to.
Okay.
And made that. If it was 8-7, he made that last second save. He's a hero, and he gave up 7 goals.
Well, he's got the 5 spectacular save
yeah,
rating. So
yeah, he does. Yeah.
all right. So after a goal, let's see. Do not re-roll. Okay. So after a goal, then obviously you face off and change teams.
Yeah, we
Or
change
change
the
lines.
lines. Yeah, we're going down to advanced time. Change the lines.
So that just takes 1, right? one block. Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so again, we're not going to mess with the lines, just for practice, for playing around. All right, so then you still normal minutes, face off. 10, high face off player wins. So again, we've determined that was a Zezel.
Zezel, yep.
Zezel.
Mhm.
Okay. And then we roll to see what happens. 6. Now Zoom. So again, this is the whole team check. Zoom is a one player check, right?
Right.
Okay. So we
Yep.
got to roll to see which.
No, what we do is, so black, I believe, is the home team. So it's black 4 and white 2 for
Oh, so you
players.
use that. Okay.
Yeah, so if you look at your team there, so it's going to be Crossman is number 4 black, and he's going against, who's that, Nielsen?
Kent Nielsen.
Yeah, so those two guys are the guys that are going to be battling out here in the Zoom.
Okay.
So you
And
can just
then
put
you
the
roll to see what quality.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
So we're going to roll one die to see what the quality is.
We're looking for the power.
So does either one have power?
Yes, Crossman has power. Nielsen don't.
Okay, so who had the puck? Philadelphia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if Philadelphia has the puck and they win the challenge, then they get a play.
Now, would that be the same, regardless of which quality you find?
Yeah, so those two players are going head to head, and we're determining, which quality to use. So Crossman had power and Nielsen didn't, so he wins the challenge basically.
Okay. So again, but it would have been the same if the challenge was speed, skill, whatever.
Yeah, whatever you rolled there and you looked at it, so there's 6 qualities, speed, skill, power, hit, smart, and star. So whatever come up, you would compare. So if it was a 6, we looked for the star quality. In that case, Nielsen would have got it, and they would have taken the puck away because the Flyer player did not have it.
Okay. So the first question is if they both have it, what happens?
Okay, if they both have it, so if you read along on the Zoom, it says if the offensive player wins the matchup, then a play occurs, which is what happened to us.
Mhm.
If the defender wins it, then there's no shot. Defense takes over, new possession, change a line, advance clock. So it's basically a turnover.
Right.
Okay. Now it says if both players have the quality, we go to tiebreakers, and this is kind of key in this game. Is your tiebreakers? Tiebreakers are momentum, number 1.
Okay.
So nobody has momentum. So then we'd go to home team.
Okay.
So that's how the tiebreakers work. And if neither had the quality, then the defender automatically wins and takes the puck away. So there's 3 scenarios. They both have it, neither have it, or one does and one doesn't.
Okay. So if the defensive guy has it, they just take the puck and you start a new minute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If the team with the puck has it, then you get a play, which is a shot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. If they both have it, the tiebreaker would be
Momentum.
and then home team.
Yep.
And then if neither have it, then it automatically goes to the defender.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And that all says that right under 6 Zoom, by the way. So if you ever get stuck, it lists it all out, all the different scenarios. And
now, so my next question would be: is there any differential between the types of skills, or is it just having a skill period?
I think it's just having that particular skill that the game's asking for.
Okay, so basically that's just kind of something to help you visualize. So,
Yeah.
if it's a speed, then you're just, the difference in that play is that one guy's faster than the other. Power, I mean, obviously that means that Grossman is maybe more physical than Nielsen.
So if you look at like Gretzky, let's say he's got 5 out of the 6 qualities, right?
Mhm.
He's just missing the one at the top, which I believe is the hit quality. Okay, which is hit and power is really more for defense than it is for forwards. Although even but Gretzky and Zezel both have it as power. So let's, for example, that Gretzky was going up against a scrub, okay, and you rolled, and it was the hit quality, and the guy on whatever team, the Cincinnati Stingers,
Mhm.
Replay Gamer has the hit quality, and that's the only quality he has.
Mhm.
But that's what was called for. He would beat Wayne Gretzky on that challenge.
Right. So
Because
again,
he had the hit and Gretzky didn't.
and that's just helping you kind of visualize the. So I guess it doesn't, maybe the different skills don't necessarily have anything to do with the outcome. It's just having the skill period. but in your mind, it helps you to visualize who had the advantage, and or these guys are equally powerful. But you're right,
Yeah.
Gretzky was a little dude, and so
So how I look
somebody
at it here
bigger
is
than
that,
him is going to get him.
yeah, if it calls for the speed quality, it means to me the puck's kind of loose and two guys are racing for the puck.
Mm-hmm.
So if one guy has speed and one guy doesn't, then the fast guy is going to get there. If it's a skill quality, it means that maybe they're battling for the puck and one guy pulls the puck away from the other guy because he's got more skill. If it's a power or a hit, it means two guys are going into the boards and they're going to slam each other, and which guy has more power or more hit to make that play. And so that's kind of how I visualize it, is that whatever quality it's calling for, that's the situation going on the ice at this particular moment. Who's going to win this battle and what's needed to win this battle?
Mm-hmm.
And
So
so
obviously, more qualities, you're overall better talent. But like you said, Gretzky's going to have trouble with a hit.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah. And you're going to get some defensemen that are just beasts that are
Yeah.
going to win the hit every time,
Yeah. No, that's good. So anyway, so Crossman
Wins it for his
won
team.
that
Yep.
match off. So we do the play chart.
Yep.
So that's 10. So that's 4, 1, and 2. Again, the first two are assists. The third one is who shoots. So 4, 1, and 2. 4, 1, and 2. So nobody has momentum.
Right.
So assist, nothing for Crossman, 2 for prop. And then shooting, Kerr is 3 solid. So that would be 5, right?
Yeah. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep.
Okay. And then Fuhr is a 1. So we said 5, right?
5 and 1. Yep.
So that's under and that's over. Maybe we need to get Fuhr out of there, don't we?
It's a 7. So we got a spectacular save, though. Yeah.
See, now I was bad mouthing him, and he's gonna
Yeah. So he's got a chance to
he's
make
gonna
it
show me
again.
up, didn't he?
Let's see if he makes the save.
So we get a 3, 4 or more better. Goalie smothers puck, and he is. So how about that?
Yeah. Yep. So he gets beat easily, but he's making these spectacular saves.
Yep. So Kerr with the shot. Spectacular save for Fuhr.
Yep. And that also gives you momentum on a spectacular save.
Nice. So it's
So
probably good to which color is the momentum? Do you remember? Is it blue, red?
I think blue was the cheap shot. I think red was momentum, I think.
Okay. So
And I think we might have screwed up with that when
yeah,
Hextall made his
Hextall
spectacular
had
save.
one. Yep,
They
you're
should have
right.
got momentum at that point too. But I think we had a lull that would have killed
That would have
momentum
killed
anyway.
it. You're right. So I don't think
So
it came into play before then. So, but anyway, even if we did, we're just practicing.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the Edmonton now, because of the spectacular save, has the momentum. So what we would do is change lines, go to the next time segment, and have a face-off.
Okay. So we're 10 minutes into it, and again, this is going slow because we're yakking. But
yeah.
all
Now,
right.
what I would do, if you want, just for fun,
Mhm.
why don't we change the lines right now?
Okay.
Just so we see some different guys out there, because you're not always going to see guys with all these qualities. You're going to see guys with less qualities sometimes. So sometimes it's fun to after you get the game flowing a little bit, go to another line, just so you don't have like all the best guys out there. Although
Yeah.
Edmonton, I'm looking at Edmonton here, and Messi and Anderson, not necessarily your scrubs, so to speak. They still got 4 and 5 qualities here.
I think they won the Stanley Cup this year.
I think they these two teams met in the finals there.
Actually, I think didn't they play the Bruins this year?
What is this, 86, 87?
86, 87.
I think, yeah, I'm trying to think what year Edmonton and the Flyers went to the Cup. I think it might have been 86, actually.
Okay. I could be thinking of I think, was it the last year that Edmonton had Gretzky that they played?
Yeah, this 86, 87, it was Edmonton and Philadelphia. Yep.
Oh, nice.
In 86, 87.
I didn't do that on purpose.
And they won it in 7 games, Edmonton did. So that was a good series.
Good
I
matchup.
remember watching that game over a friend of mine's house, because I had to go to my friend's house because we didn't have cable at the time. And I think it was on ESPN. So I had to go to his house and watch the game. And I forget who we were rooting for. I don't even remember. I think we were pulling for Philadelphia for some reason. I don't know why, but so okay. So yeah, so now we get some different guys out there, so we can see some different qualities and some different stars and stuff. And
okay, so let's do this if you don't care, and let me manipulate a little bit so we can hit these other results.
Sure.
So let's say we'll give it to let's give it to Philadelphia, and let's say we rolled a fight.
Okay.
Okay, so we haven't done that one yet. So what do you do here? So
All
again,
right. So fight breaks out.
Edmonton
We go.
has the momentum, and Philadelphia has the puck. We rolled a 2.
All right. So we roll a 2. So we got to go to the fight chart, which I believe it says page 11. And I'll look at the directions here for fight to make sure. So what we do is we have to have one player on each team with a fight number.
Oh
So if I
wow!
look at Edmonton, okay, they do, and
Look at
yep,
that
the
guy.
Flyers do too. Yeah,
A
yeah.
6.
So the player with the highest fight rating has the opportunity to start the fight.
Okay.
Okay. So what we do is we look at the highest fight rating. So that's going to be Tocchet, I think, right?
Yep, he's a 6.
He's a 6. So what we would do is roll the dice to see if he's going to drop his gloves. Well, it's a 6, so no matter what we roll, he's going to drop his gloves.
Okay.
Okay. So now we roll for the opponent. So we look for the second guy there. The top guy on their team. So Tikkanen's a 3. So you would roll the dice, and if it's 3 or less, then he would
They fight.
reciprocate.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh.
Okay. So 3 or less. So they would have a fight.
Okay. So
Is
these
what it
guys
would
are
be.
fighting.
So we have Tocchet and Tikkanen fighting. Okay. Now what's kind of fun about this is if you go to your fight chart. Yeah. See that in the bottom left corner.
Mhm.
So now we have a mini game fight, which is kind of neat.
Okay.
So what to do is roll the dice and see what comes up.
Okay. 5. Home player lands punch.
All right. So 1 for Tocchet. So now we roll again.
Okay.
1 for Tocchet. Yep.
9. Visitor player lands a punch.
All right. So now it's even. So it's 1-1. So Tikkanen strikes back.
Okay. So actually, you got like a little.
It's a mini game.
Like Glory Days boxing.
It's kind of fun. At first I didn't like it, but this happens in the Express game, and I kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah. So 5. Home player lands a punch.
All right. So Tocchet lands one on Tikkanen as they go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And you can kind of visualize the fight
Yeah.
here as it's happening.
Referee breaks up fight.
All right. So now what happens is whoever won the fight, which was Tocchet, because he's got 2,
Mhm.
to Tikkanen's 1. So Tocchet wins the fight. They both get 5 minutes, and momentum goes to the team that wins the fight.
Okay. So that would be Philadelphia.
Yep. So Philadelphia gets the momentum, and that's kind of how a fight works. It's kind of fun.
Okay. So now with the penalties, you would just remove those 2 guys or change
Yeah.
lines.
Yep. That'd be a change of lines, and they have to sit out for 5 minutes.
Okay. And then you still play 5-on-5. I know this is a hockey rule.
Yep.
But,
Yep. 5-on-5.
okay. So now do you have special power play lines, or do you just change lines, or how do you do it?
I usually go line 1 for my power play, and then if it's a second power play, I use line 2, which is kind of how Strat does it. It's like you have 2 different power play lines. I suppose some people like to spell out who the power play is.
Mhm.
I haven't done that yet, although it's probably a good idea is to pick your best power play guys and put them together and your best penalty killing guys,
Mhm.
because you want squares and circles on the penalty kill, and you want triangles and circles with stars on the power play. So again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It depends what you do. I think what games like to do is they don't want you using the best guys for every single power play.
Right.
That's kind of you gaming the game at that point. So if you put them on your first power play, but if there's another power play, then you go with some different guys.
So with this, there's really not a power play. So basically, you would just change lines and.
Yes, this is basically, yes. So it's even. So these guys go to the box for 5 minutes. We play 5-on-5, and the only thing that happens is neither of these guys can play for the next 5 minutes.
Okay.
So that would
Yeah,
be
I
a
mean,
fight.
if you've got the big mat where you have all your lines laid out, I mean, that's easy. I mean, like Strat, you have to change cards, and I know like
Mm-hmm.
ID Jester, he did where he stapled and put them together in plastic sheets. But I
Right.
mean, with this, if you've got your all the lines laid out on the board, then you just can move a token, and
Mm-hmm.
that'd be real easy to change that would be an advantage to this game because the two things in hockey games I'm finding that are problematic is penalties and line changes.
Oh yes, by far the penalties are the biggest problem in hockey games, and then line changes are confusing as well. And again, that's why I use my little system there. I either use when I play Apper and Hockey Bones, I have the Excel spreadsheet which tells me what lines to put out, and it randomizes that, and that's what I really like. Or I use my little cards, and I just flip the card, and it tells me which line's coming on the ice next, and that gives me some random lines too.
I know the strat roster sheet gives you recommended lines.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, in this game, you're on your own and picking your lines.
Yeah, that's the hard part about setting this up, even on the big map, is because you're laying out your team, but you can see who the better guys are, so you can line
Mhm.
them up if you want, and then if you're playing against yourself, it's like how do you put out the second team after you've already lined up the first team? You know what I mean? You got to kind of block out what you did. So what I started to do, to be fair, is I will either grab the strat or the Apple lineup sheet and
Oh,
try to
nice.
go by that, and that way it's a little bit more fair.
Good idea.
So I see what somebody else wants to do for lines, and those are the guys I put out. And for better or for worse, that those are the lines, and then that way there I can't game the system.
Yeah, that'd be something I would do. Is again, I like that third party because, like you said, you're constantly second guessing yourself as to, well,
Mm,
okay, should I, is this one line too strong? Would they buff up the,
yeah,
so
and you
again,
can
if
always
somebody,
adjust it too, because the thing is, if you got the Oilers out there, and everyone's got two triangles, well, you only need a maximum of 6 of anything because you can never roll higher than a 6.
Mhm.
So you're almost wasting some of these symbols if you have too many guys out there with the same symbol. So you can mix that up. But I mean, again, if I the Apper and the Strat stuff, it's free to print out the lines.
Mhm.
And so you just look, okay, who was their top line? That's who's going out there for better or for worse. That's who I'm going to put out there. And if it's too many or not enough, then again, there's no right or wrong way to do it. You got to put out a line, and sometimes you can overthink it, and sometimes you can game the game. So
Yeah.
if I know the lines that are out there or the recommended lines, I'm going to put those out. And if I want to slide somebody around just to make it fair, I can do it if I want to.
Yeah, and I'd be that's a real good suggestion. All right, so now refresh my memory. The blocks are defensive. What are the star or the what are the triangles again?
Triangles are offense, and the circles with a star is power play,
Okay.
and defense is your squares and your circles.
So what would be the advantage of having two triangles? Is that like in a matchup, or
Yeah,
does
because
that like you?
so it'll if you have a if you're on the power play,
Mhm.
it might say who's got triangles or whatever, or the total triangles. There's sometimes I think that you'll have a matchup.
Okay,
You know,
so that's the
uh,
advantage of having two of them as opposed to
yeah.
one.
So let's just say you had yeah. I guess I'm trying to look here to see what it would be, but yeah, the more triangles, the better. And the more squares and circles, the better for defense. Because
Okay.
sometimes it'll say, "Do you have 2 squares or 2 circles to make a play?" And if you do, then okay, great, we make the play.
Okay. So
And,
now,
oh yes, oh here's what it is that yeah, okay, here's what I was looking for. The team with the most triangles generates an offensive scoring chance. So if you look at number 3 under normal minutes, if you want to continue down our list, so if we go to 3 on normal minutes,
get to normal
and
minutes. Okay.
and and you'll see it says the team of the most triangles. So that's what you want. So if a guy's
Gotcha.
got 2 triangles, that's good because that means he's got 2 triangles for his team.
Okay. And if no triangles on the ice, then that's a lull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's number three. That's where that. So that's you're just looking for the triangles.
Yep. And
Nice.
again, if it's tied, then the tiebreaker is momentum and then home team.
Okay. Cool. All right. So let's say we do an so again Philadelphia has the momentum because
Yep. They
they
won
want
the
to fight.
fight. Yep.
And so let's say we do a face off. Edmonton gets it, and we roll a 4
Okay. So we have an odd man rush. We roll a 4. So what we need to do is roll a die
to see.
to see what we're looking see who we're looking at.
Okay,
Uh,
12 or 2 is 2,
oh,
offensive 2.
offensive 2. So we look at offensive 2. So we look at who's got the puck now? Edmonton.
Edmonton, so that'd be
Okay.
Tikkanen.
Okay. No, he would be in the box because of the fight. But I mean,
Well,
for the
yeah,
sake of
yeah,
of this,
we've moved on. So
yeah, we moved on from that. Okay, we just gave him a warning. He got a
yeah,
warning.
yeah, we changed lines, and this is
Yeah.
his evil twin in a parallel
Yeah.
universe.
Yeah. So if we look at odd man rush, when we're looking offense, if they have the triangle, they create a play. If they
Okay,
don't have, and he does. So, and if he didn't have the triangle, then he'd lose the puck and it'd be a change of possession and a line change. So, because he does have the triangle on the odd man rush, he would get a play.
okay,
Conversely, if you rolled a 4, 5, or 6, we're looking at defense.
right.
And if the defense player has a square, then he makes a play and takes away the puck. If not, then the offense would get a shot. So this is where
Gotcha.
triangles and squares come in on the odd man rush. So on this particular thing, we're looking at offense. The offense does have the triangle, so he would create a scoring chance.
Now, in this particular instance, having two wouldn't matter. He just needs one.
Right. Yep. It
So
just
the
does he
two
have it or
probably
not?
would be matter on a matchup, or if you're counting the whole team.
Yeah. If you were looking at the play under 3,
Right.
that's when it's a total
That's the
team
whole team.
effort. Yep. So
Okay.
that's when 2 triangles
All
come
right.
in.
So Ticketing gets a play. So we roll on the play chart. 8 is 2, 1, and 3. So 2, 1, and 3. They don't have momentum. So that is, let's see, what did I say?
2, 1, 3.
2, 1, 3. So Messier gets the shot. He don't have a very high shot rating. I figured he'd have higher than that. So nothing there. 1 and then 1. So they've got 2.
Mm-hmm.
Hextall is a 3 with the momentum.
Yep. So it's 2 against 3.
2
Yep.
and 3. Okay, so that's not going to cut it, and so they lose on both counts. So what happens if you fail a play?
So you go to the goalie save chart because he made the save.
Okay,
And
nice.
you read the 4. No.
Oh,
Yep.
you leave the dice alone.
Yep.
Yeah, I got to remember that. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
that's the thing about the play games is that you leave the dice on the table for a long time and you follow along. It's
Which I
kind of
like generally. It's just one less thing to do.
yeah. So a
So,
4,
yeah, ping off the post, scramble in front. A block on defense controls the puck. Otherwise, the 0-3 gets a rebound shot. So do we
yeah.
have?
So does
So
anybody have a square?
we got 2 blocks. McCrimmon and Poulin.
Okay, so the answer would be is there a square on defense? Yes. And then you see that little cross there.
Okay.
After that says on defense controls the puck. So the cross says the goalie controls the puck, goalie's team controls the puck. We change the lines, advance the clock, and the goalie's team now has possession. So basically, that hit the post is a scramble in front. It's cleared away by the Flyers. They take the puck. We advance the lines and we advance the time.
I know you guys did not too long ago did a episode on storytelling about how games are kind of incorporating that. That's one thing play does very well.
Yes. Yep.
Is again, you just don't get X's and O's and everything, and usually your imagination is fun, but things like this, it just gives you, some visuals to kind of help your imagination.
It is kind of fun reading it. It's like ping off the post, scramble in front, and you look, and it's like Poulin or McCrimmon scoops in and takes the puck away, and there's no rebound for the other team, and yeah, they do a good job of visualizing. I mean, some games use symbols, and it's just like the defensive team gets the puck, and that's all it says. And other times they use some description like this, which is kind of fun as
Yeah.
well. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it does tell the story.
All right, so we changed our lines, and they keep the puck, right? They didn't ask for a face off, right?
Right. Yeah. If you look down here on the goalie save chart at the very bottom where it says goalie or goalie's team controls the puck, you see that little cross there?
Goalie's team begins new possession. Yep.
Yeah. So they begin a new possession. So there's no face off. So they take the puck, but they've changed the lines up and we advance the clock. So
I'm learning it's very important to read the fine print.
yeah, that's the thing about this game here. It's all laid out for you. You just have to kind of follow along and not assume anything. And I think
Right.
that's where I went wrong when I first started playing this game, is I was kind of doing a lot of assumptions. And then when I went back and actually followed along, it made a heck of a lot of sense because I wasn't assuming anything. And
Right.
that's why it takes me a long time to play this, because I'm always going back and double checking what it says so I get it right.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys who don't read the directions on anything. and so I just jump into it. So yeah, I would, if I was by myself, I would be really tempted to. Okay, now what am I supposed to do here? When if I
I
would just
think that's what
follow
happened to
through.
me when I first played this game. I think that's what happened to me. I was kind of skimming through it, and it was confusing, and I couldn't figure it out. And but then when I went back and I read it and actually read it, oh, it all makes sense now.
Yep, gotta read those directions.
Yeah. All right,
So
so
as
let's go
far as
to a penalty now. Let's try a
okay,
penalty.
yeah, let's say we roll a 5. Okay,
Okay, so we roll a 5. So
right
now
now
what you want to
Philadelphia
do?
has it.
All right, so Philadelphia has the puck. They have the momentum. So we roll a 5. So
Okay,
we got a penalty event. So what we want to do is go to page 11.
that's an important page.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now what you want to do is roll your dice.
Okay,
And I had a lot of trouble with this. And when I finally figured it out, it actually was pretty simple.
okay, so got
All right.
10.
So we have a 10. So if you look at 10, instead it says 03.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to put a little dot on 03. All right. So Poulin has it. Now what you're going to do is look at the player opposite of him. Okay. And what it is if you didn't have this, if you just had the standard play mat, what you need to do is make sure that it adds up to 6, meaning that 3 goes against 3, 4 goes against 2, and 5 goes against 1. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the way they've got it laid out here,
The
right?
way they have it here, you
Right.
get right. But if you had the big mat,
Then you wouldn't have this.
then you wouldn't have the matchups right on top of each other. Okay. So they always have to add up to 6, is as I believe how this goes. So what we're going to do, so we rolled a 10. So we're looking at 03. So Poulin, now what's his penalty rating?
B as in boy. I'm sorry,
No.
that's 0.5.
Okay, 0.5. So we look at the player across from him,
Messier.
and he's a 1.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what happens is, if you look at the top of the penalty chart, it says 2 dice rolls are required to resolve penalties. First dice determines which player or players are involved.
Mm-hmm.
Second determines the severity of the penalty. Mm-hmm. So what happens is Messier has the higher penalty. So he's getting the penalty.
Okay.
You follow that? So we the first die gave us 03. So that tells us who we're looking at, and then also who he's going up against. And that'll determine who's going to get the penalty. So now we'll roll again
to see what the penalty is.
To see what the penalty is going to be.
Okay. So 5 is the penalty less than 1.
And the answer would be
no, because it is 1.
So
we're looking at Messier, right?
Yep. So is the penalty less than 1? No. So let's see, minor penalty less than 1, minor penalty called. Otherwise, it's a major.
So he gets a major.
So it's a major. Now, I believe, go to page 17. And this is kind of how I played out. This is some optional charts. Okay, so now let's look at the major. So let's roll for the major now. And I kind of like this chart here. So a 9. Ooh. Charging
injury.
And an injury. So he gets a 5-minute major for charging. And
what's the plus sign mean?
Let me see. So let's see. What do we say? It was charging plus injury. So it's okay. So the opponent injured on die roll of 1 or 6. Otherwise, the opponent is neutralized for the rest of the period. So Messier charged over his over Poulin.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'd roll a 1 or a 6 to see if he's injured or if he's just out for the rest of the period. So it was a 6. So he is injured. So then
there's an injury chart somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Flip to the back of the book here on page 18. And there's an injury code. So what is his injury code?
Okay. He's a B.
So he's injured for the rest of the game.
Okay. So C or D, you would roll the dice. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. So, So he's, so it's a 5-minute major to Messier for charging.
Now, just curious, Dave, where did you see that you compare their penalty ratings?
In the instruction manual itself.
Okay, that's where that's at, because I didn't see it on the chart.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it. I just was wondering where to find that. Okay. So basically 5-minute for Messier. That's a 5-minute power play, right?
Yep. So it'd be a five. This would be a major penalty. So it'd be a 5-minute power play. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep.
And
So
then
what it says in the
ruling
rule
the
books,
entry.
just so you know, it says the player indicated gets the penalty unless his opponent, the player in the position box directly opposite him, has a higher penalty rating. In that case, the opponent gets the penalty.
Fair enough.
So it's an automatic. You automatically compare the penalty ratings once you determine that first roll.
Gotcha.
And then you roll again on the chart, and it just so happened he gets a major penalty. And
Gotcha.
sometimes there's no penalty. A penalty of 0, there's no penalty, or a penalty of
Right. It's
1,
based
there's
on
less.
their rating a lot, right?
Yep, yep. And again, this is something I had a problem with when I first started playing, and now I find it to be very simple. Now that I've
Yeah.
really paid attention and seen what they were doing with it, it does make a lot of sense
I was
now.
going to ask you about that. What was about the penalties that you had difficulty with, but I mean, it does seem pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that, because well, let's put it this way. In all the other games we play, okay, whether it's Strat, Apper, Hockey Bones, or whatever, when you roll a penalty, the guy with the puck gets the penalty.
Hmm.
Right? I mean, that's just kind of how it is. I played Apple last night, and Bobby Orr had the puck and he rolled, he got a penalty. And Bobby Hull had the puck and said penalty, he gets the penalty. So in this case, the guy that you rolled doesn't necessarily get the penalty, so it's kind of foreign.
So that was what threw you.
That's what threw me off. Because like, why is this guy not getting the penalty? I rolled, he should get the penalty.
Hmm.
Why am I comparing it to the other guy? And the higher guy is always going to get the penalty. I didn't understand that, and I kind of had a hard time with that way of thinking.
Hmm.
But now that I've kind of adapted the way the game plays and the whole bit, it makes sense that the higher guy would get the penalty, because these are the two guys that have
Definitely.
collided or whatever it is, that
Right.
they're the guys fighting for the puck, or maybe they're behind the play doing something,
Mhm.
and that's what it is. But again, if you roll on the chart, there is a chance that both players go. You know, um, if you roll the 7 on that chart, then it says that multiple penalties are called. So you roll again for each player. So there's a chance that you get matching penalties. There's a
Right.
chance that there's no penalties.
Right.
So once I kind of dug into it and really paid attention, it made a lot more sense. But again, skimming through it the first time and trying to compare it to other games, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah, my educated guess is that probably your biggest problem with this is that you just hadn't experienced any play games. Again, I've played history. Again, I see a lot of red, white, and blue in this.
Mm-hmm.
I see a lot of golf in it. So again, I think if you're familiar with other play games, that this is going to make more sense to you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it really does. So this was my first play game. So it
Right.
was definitely different than anything else. And that's probably why I had a problem with it.
Yeah.
And, after I played the golf and after I played the racing game, when I went back to this, it did make more sense.
Hmm.
And then especially after the Hockey Blast Express, it really kind of made sense.
Hmm.
And now when I went back to it, it's like, no, this is actually more enjoyable than I remember it. And I remember fighting with this, and now I'm not fighting with it anymore. Now it really kind of works for me.
Yeah. My initial feeling of it is that I think I would enjoy this very much.
Yeah, I think it's very different than the strat that you're playing. It really is. But
All
I
right.
would say it's not very difficult if you really just pay attention to what's on the chart.
All right. So now I notice on 7 on the normal minutes, you got a lull or a possible fight if there was a cheap shot.
Hmm.
Um, on power play minutes, 7 is a power play. So what does that involve?
All right, so it means the man advantage team gets a scoring chance. Uh, Even if the shorthanded team has the puck, it's still going to be a power play chance for the power play team. So it's an automatic scoring chance if you're on the
Okay.
power play.
So that's basically giving the power play team an advantage. That one right there is.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. All right. So let's go back to our regular chart here. So we did odd man rush,
Mm-hmm.
and that's basically where you're checking the diamonds or the triangle or the blocks.
On
We
the
did a
offense or defense.
penalty.
Yep.
The
Just did
zoom is you're looking at the skill of
one
two
player
particular
versus another. Yep.
versus another. Lull is again just kills time. Ice
Low is a
blast.
low. Yep.
Okay.
Except if there's a cheap shot out there. Okay. If there's a
Right.
cheap shot, then
So basically, that's just somebody did a cheap shot and anger is in the air.
yep. So it says if a cheap shot has occurred early in the period, then a dice roll of 7 instead of a lull, a fight breaks out and a new momentum is determined. And then a team must have a player on the ice that wants to fight. And you know, that was the other thing about the cheap shot I didn't like, is like, man, you know, you'll never get momentum back. But the cheap shot, it does end. It's called a submission. But there's different ways that it gets cleared. If you have a fight, whether you win or lose the fight, it gets rid of it on a goal, or at the end of the period, the submission goes away. And so again, that's something that I didn't follow the first time through, but now that I followed it, it's like, oh, okay, so it's not there forever. It's just there till you have a fight or the end of the period or a goal. So
Gotcha. Now, on the fights on the lull, do you still do the same way you would do a fight on number 2, where you
yeah,
check to see if they fight or not?
yeah, you got to see if they want to fight. And I believe if I can say in the rule book there, if you don't even have to win the fight, although I think what happens is you have to read it again in the rules there, but something about the team that has the cheap shot, they're going to want to fight. And if the other team turtles, then you get rid of the momentum.
Okay.
So I mean,
So they basically yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah.
All right. So Ice Blast is where you do the character or the characteristic for the whole team.
Yep, that's the whole line. Yep.
Now what happens on 9, momentum?
Momentum is basically if you have the puck, let's see, so let's read it. Whichever team currently has momentum gains or retains the puck. So let's just say right now Philadelphia has the momentum.
Right.
If they had the puck, they just keep the puck.
Okay.
If Edmonton had the puck, then Philadelphia would take the puck away.
Okay.
Because the team with momentum is going to end up with the puck, and there's no line change, no timing advance. Okay. Now, if nobody has momentum, okay, let's just say we had a lull or whatever,
Right.
then what you need to do is check the hit qualities. Okay, so you look at everybody on the ice and see how many hit qualities you have.
Okay.
So we look for.
So they're even. They got one apiece.
So they each have one. So if the hit qualities are tied, momentum goes to the home team. Okay. So in this case here, we you either give the puck to the team with momentum or you establish momentum. And in this point here, if it's tied, then it goes to the home team. So Philadelphia would get the momentum and then you'd roll again. However, if you roll a 9 twice, then the momentum team will deliver the cheap shot we talked about. And that will prevent the other team from getting momentum until they get rid of that.
So if a dice roll of 9 occurs twice, so does that mean like just during the game?
Back to back. So you roll the 9. If you rolled another 9 back to back.
Okay. You would know that because so it basically would be the very next roll. You would know if you rolled a 9 again. Okay.
Yeah, 2 in a row.
I'd be like, how can you keep track of that? But you would obviously
2 in a row. Yeah,
Gotcha.
2 in a row.
All right. So 10 is turnover. So if you have any defender with the block, they create a turnover. If no block, then no effect. Roll again.
Yep. And there's no. So it's
if double
basically
fives are rolled for that 10, then they get a breakaway shot play. Now, is there a breakaway chart somewhere,
let me see.
or is that just on the play?
I think that just becomes a play chart. However, on breakaway play, if you look at the play chart, on breakaway plays in the modern era, choice player pulled down from behind gets a penalty shot, and that's if you roll a 2. So I think it just becomes a play. It basically, you know what it is? On a breakaway, you get momentum. It's a scoring chance, but you get momentum. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's hard to read because it's in black, but on breakaway plays.
If you roll a 2.
Yeah.
Because you get the 2 stars there. So if you roll a 2 on the play chart,
right. Or if you get a breakaway play, then that obviously would apply without the 2.
So I think what happens is, so if you were to roll double 5s in, and you had the square on double 5s, it would be a breakaway. And on a breakaway, it's just it's a scoring play. But what happens is you have temporary momentum. Yeah. Is what it is. So simply re-roll on the play chart with the goalie's team on offense, and you have instant temporary momentum. So you use all the stars.
Okay.
So on the turnover there, I don't get that too often, but sometimes I do.
So the 11 is play. If the defensive team has 2 blocks, then they create a turnover, change lines, and advance clock. Defensive team now in possession of puck. Otherwise, offense creates a play if you don't have
Yep.
the 2 blocks. Okay.
That's rare. It's really rare to have 2 squares out there on the ice at a time.
And these guys got it here.
Yep. Well, again, you're playing the top 2 teams.
Right.
So Philadelphia does, but Edmonton doesn't.
Edmonton doesn't, right? And
Yep.
then what's a spectacular save?
Yeah. So basically, whoever has the puck, whatever team has the puck, pick a player, and they take a shot on the net, and the goalie has to make a spectacular save off the spectacular save chart.
Oh, so you just cut right to the chase.
Right to the chase on the 12. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, that gives you a little bit of a variety, you know.
I think it does. I really like how sometimes you go right to the shot chart, right to the spectacular save. There's chances to take the puck away. Sometimes you change the line, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're looking at 2 players, sometimes you're looking at the whole line. It really does a good job of capturing any possibility of what's going on the ice.
Mhm.
It really is. I like how it brings in individual player qualities, and sometimes you need the whole team. And
I
there's
like
no
they've got
guarantee.
3
There's
on
no
3 for modern overtime.
Yep, yep, and that, again, I don't play the modern season, but that's there if you want to play it. I do like the empty minutes chart. That's kind of fun too,
Mhm.
because you take the goalie out and you can play with that, and that's And the one thing that this game does really well, again, after coming back to it a second time, is everything is spelled out for you. And there's some games that I play that you really either got to come up with homebrew rules, or you have to find some way around some things. But this game spells it out, so I find I don't have to homebrew anything here. It's all really spelled out for you.
Yeah, you just have to read the fine print. Again, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
noticing is that you've got to read everything that's in
yeah.
the block.
Exactly. Yeah, that you can't skim over. You can't assume anything.
Nope.
Because everything's laid out from not rolling the dice to rolling the dice a second time. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't, and that's why I like to roll a third red die.
Right.
So that way, if I get the odd man rush or the ice blast, what I like to do is have so on something like that. So let's just say you roll the 6. Put a 6 up for the white and the black by chance.
That's okay.
5 and a 1 or something like that, or whatever it is.
Okay.
All right, so let's just say you rolled that. Well,
Okay.
now what I like to do is on the Zoom. Okay, now I know I'm looking at black 1
Yep.
and white 5, right on my board. So I'm
Oh,
looking
right.
at who's that? Murray Craven
Yep.
and
Randy Gregg.
Randy Gregg. So those are the guys I'm looking at, and now I don't have to roll either one of those dice and forget
Yep.
who I'm going up against.
Yes.
And then the red die is going to be smart.
Yep.
Right. So when I roll that, now I see they both have smart. So in that particular play there, if they both have it, I go to the tiebreakers and it would
Momentum.
be momentum. So Philadelphia would either get a shot or they would take the puck away, depending on where the puck was
Right.
at the beginning of the play. But that's why I like to roll that extra die. So
Good
if I
idea.
get a Zoom or an Ice Blast, especially on the Zoom, I don't have to take up the black and the white die because those are the 2 guys that are fighting for the puck.
Yeah, you can
And
kind of keep it as a marker if you need to go
Yes,
forget where you're
exactly.
at. Yeah.
Sometimes I'll just put that right on the players too. I'll be like, okay, here's 1 and 5, and then I'll just use the
Oh,
red die,
yeah,
whatever.
that's a good idea. Yeah.
So
One.
I could do something like that, and that way there I know who's fighting
Yeah.
for the play. So that's one thing that I like to do. It just it makes it go a little bit faster for me, so I'm not rolling a die and then forgetting who the original players were that matched up and things like that. And it's the same for the ice blast too. Is you roll it out, you get the 8, and then it's an ice blast. Okay, what did I roll? Oh, I rolled a 5. Okay, let's check the smart quality. So it just saves a roll.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
You also on the odd man rush, you would use it.
Oh yes, yep. On the odd man rush too. Yeah. So there's a few things here that would help out with. Yep. So it's
Very
just
cool.
one little thing I do to speed the game up.
Yeah. So that's pretty much all the things you'll run into. Now, obviously, there's a little bit more detail involved, but that was very helpful to kind of get a bird's eye view of it, and the different things you're looking at. So cool.
Yeah. The hard thing is just trying to figure out, if both players have the qualities, what happens, or if neither has the quality, what happens. Because if one does and one doesn't, that's easy. If you have the puck, then you get a scoring chance. If you don't have the puck, you take it away. So
Right.
that's easy. But when they both or they don't, that's when I have to keep looking at my chart. And I got to say, okay, what am I looking at here? So if they both have it, I go to tiebreakers. If neither has it, then it usually goes over to the defensive team. But you still gotta read,
Right.
and that's one thing
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
trying to memorize that, but I keep second guessing myself.
yeah, that would have been a little easier if they'd had the same result if they both had it or if they neither had it. But the fact that you've got different, if they both have it, then you do the tiebreaker, sounds like. If they neither have it, then the defensive player gets it. It'd been a little
Yeah,
easier if you did the same thing across the board. But, again, I think I've got that memorized already. So
I second guess myself all the time,
oh, I
though.
do.
I
I
mean,
do the same thing,
I
Dave.
know I got it memorized now that I've just talked about
Yeah.
it, but sometimes I'm like, damn it, what happens when when neither has it again? Let me double check that, just so I get it right. That's what I do. I'm a double checker.
Now, one last thing I want to talk to you after we played through it. How does Express work? What do they do?
Express is fun. Express is fun.
So is it just you check quality? Is it kind of the same thing? Just instead of
Yeah.
doing minute
So
increments, you're doing bigger blocks?
yeah. So let's do this real quick here. I'll run you through a quick
I had,
game of
I heard a lot
Express.
of people say, well, why do you need to express this? It's already kind of expressed.
Well, let me see. I haven't played Express in a bit, but here's how it goes. So you roll. I think you roll 3 die with this one here. Okay. So you have the black, the white, and the red. Okay. And I think you roll momentum die too. So you make sure see if somebody has momentum for the empty stars. So what you would do is if the red die is a 1 or a 6, then you would go to the charts here. Okay, so I got a 1 and a 6 chart. Okay,
Okay.
a 1 is a visitor scoring chance, and a 6 is a home scoring chance. And then you would look at the black and the white die and read them apostyle, 11 and 66, and that would tell you what happened. So, for example, let's just say you rolled a 1 on the red die, so it's a visitor scoring chance, and then you rolled a 43. It would say any visitor player with a triangle would create a goal.
Gotcha.
And so if you looked on the board there, and if there's any visitor player with a triangle, then that team scores. And then what you do is you mark that player down, and then he goes to the bottom of the stack. So basically, anytime someone gets used, whether it's 1 or 2 players, you rotate them. And it's the same with the home team. So let's just say you rolled a 6 on the red die. You read the black and the white die, and let's just say you rolled a 12. It says visitor goalie must make a play save. And so you would look at that and you would check the momentum die. That's what I do, and see if the goalie has momentum or not. And then you'd roll off his play save, and you would see if he scored the goal. And then if you roll there's different rolls there. So if you roll a 2, 4, or 5, it's a quality check. And then you'd roll for qualities. And then if it's a 3, it's a penalty check. So it's a 1-on-1 check to see who has the highest penalty rating. And it goes really fast. You usually roll the dice and you immediately know, is it a scoring chance? Is it a penalty check? Or is it a quality check? Is what
So
it does.
how many rolls per period?
Let me see. I believe it's set up that you're playing 5-minute segments.
Okay, that was
So
my
there's
question.
4 rolls a period. However, if you score a goal, you stay in that segment.
Oh, yeah.
So the only way you leave that 5-minute segment is if there's no goal scored. So if if something's a wash, or if the goalie save, or it's a miss, or something like that. Now, so sometimes you're rolling on the goalie card, and sometimes you're rolling on the shooter card, but never both, like in the game. It's always one or the other.
Now, when you lay it out, are you laying out your still all 5 positions stacked?
Yeah. You have to stack them because it's 5
But
facing
still all
5.
5.
Yeah, and
So
so
and
let's
then if
just
you use
yeah.
somebody, you go to the next one.
So let's just say you had Bobby Orr and whatever Stan Mikita, and they went against each other. Well, whatever happens, they go down to the bottom.
Gotcha.
And then you play the next guys there. Now there was a game I played that Bobby Orr didn't come into play. He stayed on the top the entire time, and his number never got called, and it was all the other guys fighting. And what that makes it kind of fun too, because you'll have a guy with all these qualities fighting someone with no qualities, and again, you don't know who's going to win that battle. You really don't. You might call for the hit, and again, Gretzky doesn't have the hit, so he could lose to a scrub defenseman. But it plays pretty quick. I just found that, and even PJ will tell you that the scores tend to be kind of high.
Okay.
Because especially if you got a goalie with a 1 star, and you're like, the goalie has to make the save. Well, a 2 through 6 is a is a goal,
Mm-hmm.
and then you stay in that segment. So then you roll, and if you win the matchup again, and it's the goalie has to make a save, a 2 through 6 is a goal again. So when I play a team like the Kansas City Scouts, habitually I'm scoring 10 and 11 goals on them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, again, if I played 100 games, it probably wouldn't be that every time, but I find that the scores run a little hot. That being said, I still find it to be very enjoyable. I really do. And
Now you
I've had a
find that
lot
on
of fun.
on the Express, not you didn't find that so much on the regular game.
The regular game, I don't get those crazy
I've seen
scores.
that. Okay.
But the Express, because it's a quick head-to-head roll, and because again you score a goal, you stay in that segment. And I've had 5 goals scored in 5 minutes, and PJ said he had 7 one time. He had 7 goals
Oh,
scored
wow.
in 5 minutes. Yeah, because again he had 2 bad goalies, and it was just one goal after another after another after. Now you're not going to get that with better goalies. If you got Tony Esposito and Ken Dryden in that, they're going to be making the saves, and then you're going to be moving to the next segment. So even when I did that Russian series, I used the Express for that
Mm-hmm.
in Hockey Blast Express, and again, that's a homemade set, so it's not. I don't think that's a one that plays Cell, so I don't want to say that that's a set that they made, but somebody made that set, and my scores were a little higher. I mean, I got some 6-5s and some 4-2s. I did have one shutout. I did have a 3-0 game. But that was the only time I've ever played Express and got a shutout. So I find the scores run a little hot in Express. Some people have homebrewed it to say that they only can get 2 goals in a row, then they move to the next segment. Otherwise, they'll be there all day again with 7 goals in 5
Mm-hmm.
minutes. Not really realistic. But I find if you play 2 equal teams, it's better than if you play the Canadians against the 74 Capitals. They're just going to get destroyed,
Right.
and you could end up with 15 goals in that game. So, but
Yeah. I
the
just
Express is fun. I would recommend it, if anything, it wasn't that expensive. And again, you get the instructions and then just a couple of charts here. That's all you get. And
and
um, and
you use the existing Hockey Blast
you use the
cards.
existing Hockey Blast season card that you had. You lay them out, 5 in a row, and the gameplay is pretty quick. And I find it to be kind of fun. I find it's a nice variant of the game to play. And again, it just runs a little hot for me,
Mm-hmm.
but it's still fun to play. And you can get a game over pretty darn quick. And you don't really get any stats. I mean, you can roll to see who gets the goal, and there's ways that you can roll to see who gets the assist if you want. But uh, for the most part, you're there to get a final score and just have a quick play, fun version of Hockey Blast.
Very good. All right, Dave. Well, I appreciate that very much. I know a whole lot more about Hockey Blast than I did before, and again, my initial um, feeling is that this should be a lot of fun.
I think you can have some fun with it. If you've played the play games, you'll have some fun with this. You're playing some strat hockey, so you're getting familiar with hockey.
Mhm.
It's just again the big thing about the play thing is read the fine print because it
Yep.
really does spell it out. And I was guilty of that. I
Mhm.
really was. I wasn't sure how the game played, and I kept assuming things. And when I went back this time around a few months ago and really read it, it just made more sense this time. And now I can get through the game and I don't get hung up. And the penalties now don't hang me up. The momentum doesn't hang me up. All the things that tripped me up that made the game not fun years ago, I've now fought through and realized that either I overthought it or I didn't read it correctly or I just didn't. When you learn a new game and sometimes you just don't get what they want you to do,
Right.
and I find that with some baseball games that I play. Like some baseball games, no problem. There's other games like, oh my gosh, it's like, what are they doing? And I'll call Ron. I'll be Ron. It says this. How can that be? And he'll say, don't think of it that way. Think of it this way. And it's like, I never would have thought that.
Yep.
And it's just how it's written and how you interpret it in your mind. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense.
Mhm.
And I think that's what happened here. And now I read it again and now it makes sense. And I find it to be an enjoyable game. And it's something where if I don't want to, like I say, if I don't want to play a quick game and I want to play a long game, this kind of fits the bill right in the middle. And I have enough seasons and I've created some new cards that really make it enjoyable. And I can either play the express or the full game. And I find that I'm having a good time with it.
Very good. All right. Well, I appreciate it very much, everybody. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to throw them in there. And again, thanks so much, Dave. I had a lot of fun. I knew this would be a hoot, and I enjoyed it very much. I appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me. And I need to get more likes than Tebow. So guys, like this video. I need to get more likes than Tebow.
All right. All right. See you later.